My name's Julian and I'm a user experience developer at aXcelerate. Government-funded payments has always been a particular pain point for a lot of clients, since it's always something that RTOs need to do, but it's always something that's very complicated and needs a lot of meticulous work to do. And so that's why it's been something that we've gone out to implement into the system to be able to make this a much more easy process, as well as give a lot more visibility to the data that you're actually receiving and managing. So it's always been a feature that a lot of our clients have wanted for quite some time, frankly. And when we first kind of set out to do it, the first thing that I guess we were doing was to just get the spreadsheet of payments and just stick that right into aXcelerate. But the approach that we ended up taking after a lot of feedback from clients and engagement and iteration over a few different versions of it was to make sure that we're really comparing what is expected to be received versus what is actually received, to give more transparency to the reporting process, and to also make sure that your and our clients are getting the amount that they're expecting to receive, and be able to see if there's any kind of issues with the data, and be able to manage it more granularly if they'd like to. Just because some other solutions that we've seen and that we originally were looking at were more of just taking the data, sticking it in aXcelerate, and not giving the user the control to be able to look over and report on and evaluate what they're actually receiving. I think the addition of contract loadings was quite interesting, because when we had spoken to clients, then that was one of the parts of the process that usually doesn't get accounted for. That's kind of just held on the government funding side of things, and not really given any control in student management systems typically. But we've created a contract loading framework to be able to apply that to specific schedules and enrollments, so that it will basically affect the expected payment outcome without needing to have a specific variation for each different loading for each different circumstance. So it vastly cuts down the amount of setup that's required.
Okay.
So basically, revenue recognition is when a payment gets received for enrollments, then that might be for a lump sum for an enrollment that might extend across multiple years. And basically what revenue recognition does is this report lets you basically recognize certain parts of that revenue that was received. So throughout the course of what that payment was for, you can recognize that revenue during a particular interval, and then be able to say that we've now kind of received this, or I guess have earned this amount of money, so that then when you get to the end of it, you would have recognized that entire lump sum, as opposed to saying we just received this, and then not having any kind of change in that revenue stream over the course of the enrollment, which again can span many years, but might be more relevant to say that we've been teaching this student, so over this period, this is the amount of money we receive for that.
Yeah, cool.
We've been taxi ready for a while, as far as I'm aware, and basically it's been some holdups on taxi's side for the implementation and rollout for it, but we've kind of been at the forefront of making sure that everything is working correctly, implemented correctly, and ready to go. Since we know that that's going to be a big change moving forward, and we do need to be across it, since it is going to affect all of our clients in the system, which is always pretty important to be across. But yeah, it should be a pretty big and important change when it actually comes through, to be able to regularly report on the students' information, as opposed to needing to do it, I guess, in big bulk reporting summaries and things like that. So compliance is kind of the core of aXcelerate, and it's the reason why every student management system needs to have a system like aXcelerate. So that's why it's crucially important for us to always be compliant and meet any of the different formats that we support, and be sure to update any of them as necessary.